Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. Oh, big news, baby, big news. The Chicago White Sox. I'm joking. I mean, the White Sox did hire a manager, but we're not doing that. What's good, Chicago? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. The Bears hit hard by another injury concern. Got to talk about how they're going to adjust off another offensive lineman landing on IR. And then a move was made in the division last night that I think the Bears could have been in on. A lot of people don't feel the Bears needed to be in on. But with the offensive lineman that you have landing on IR, I think it would have helped you a little bit. On top of that, we got our, it feels hilarious to say, our three key players to a Chicago Bears victory over the Arizona Cardinals, a team that is finding a way to fight. The date is 10/30/2024. It's 6:34 in the goddamn morning, and it still hurts. It still hurts. Let's go! Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. Kill the music, kill the music, kill the music, kill the music. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. It's your boy, Pat the Designer. As I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Go ahead and...
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the goddamn button. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page, man. Let's start it off here. Let's start it off with a little bit of news on this Chicago Bears team this morning. News that, listen, kind of sucks, because while I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the greatest offensive lineman that we have, he is somebody that you did not have to worry about. As the Chicago Bears have placed Bill Murray on IR. He will be gone probably close to the rest of this season. They do make a subsequent move to sign Austin Pleasants to the practice squad. Austin Pleasant, former Arizona Cardinal practice squad player, also former player with the Chargers. Listen, this one sucks because losing Bill Murray is just losing the stability, right? And you felt like the stability was the one thing that you could hang your hat on with the Chicago Bears offensive line, because you couldn't hang it on talent. You couldn't hang it on being able to go out there and out dominate people on a consistent basis. You had to hang it on the fact that, listen, you had 5 guys going out there that were the same guys every week that could make plays. Not to say they were great consistent plays, not to say that they were great play in and play out, but they made plays, right? Trying to spin this in a positive light for Bill Murray. And to be honest with you, I will say this about losing Bill Murray to IR, for the fact that the Bears, lose another offensive lineman yet again, is you lost somebody who you didn't call his name out as a problem every week, which on the offensive line, I think that is the best you can hope for with this team. Who are we not calling out with a problem? Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins had a solid day while he was out there. The problem is the injury concerns. Braxton Jones. I don't know what's with this Braxton Jones cult that wants to come at me on Twitter and tell me that Braxton Jones is a good left tackle. He is not. I don't know what y'all are seeing, or if you're just living in Pfiff. But I don't know where this Braxton Jones mob is coming from, but he is not a good left tackle, and he has been pushed around mightily. He's also dealing with some injury. I mean, like the conversation on this offensive line is an absolute joke. And again, it's why I have been my most irritated. It's why I have had a problem with this Bears construction coming into this season. I've been talking about this offensive line since training camp, and everybody was like, no, Pat, through the power of friendship, we'll figure it out. We'll come together. Kumbaya. We're going to get this thing on. There's going to be no problems. Don't you worry. Oh, Caleb's dead. I've been talking about this offensive line since training camp. And now that we're losing the depth pieces, because that was the conversation on the O-line, right? Not that the O-line had this immense amount of talent, but that the O-line was that the O-line had depth. We've got depth, and in this league, you need depth. No, in this league, you need talent. Depth is nice. Talent is more important. And you don't have enough of it to be sitting here having a conversation about placing one of your offensive linemen on IR and not having an answer to go out there and help them. So as now we lose another piece that you didn't have to worry about in Bill Murray to the IR. Now, what do you do to fix it? Now I'm looking at Ryan Poles. Now I'm looking at, okay, where's the fix coming? Because don't just tell me that the fix is, and Bears fans, prepare yourself for disappointment. I've seen Ryan Bates. Ryan Bates is solid. He's a backup right guard. Prepare yourselves for disappointment. Do not sit there and expect Ryan Bates to come in and be the savior of this Chicago Bears team that you've been waiting for. He's a solid right guard. He's a backup. And with the injuries you have, you can't even play him at the position that you were going to play him at, which may end up working out in the Bears' favor in the long run. Because you wanted to put him out there as your starting center, and he's never done that before. Oh, have we seen the Bears try to put people in positions they've never done before? You mean like handing it off to a backup center on a obvious give it to the running back situation? Oh, Pat, they'd never do that. Come on now. Come on now. Hit that like button if you're in here, man. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. By the way, we are over 100 in that shit. No. Now, to me, you're in a situation where if you're the Chicago Bears, you have to now go out and make some kind of move. You have to go out and make some kind of trade. And this was my beef yesterday, all over the Twitter space, all over my Twitter timeline. People losing their minds one way or the other on the Cam Robinson situation, and we'll talk about that coming up here, because I think people are all in on either this guy sucks or this guy's good. He's worse than Braxton. He's better than Braxton. The problem is you have Braxton. That's where I want to start the conversation at. You came into another season with another situation of an offensive line ahead of this young man that you can't protect. And I know people are sick of the conversation, but I'm sorry, that's the only conversation to have. You went out and got your shiny new toy and threw it in the mud. It's the only conversation to have, and you don't have great options to go out there and help this kid. And I know there's some people out there, well, you can't give up good draft capital. You can't go out and give up draft capital. First off, I'm not telling you go out there and give up all your first round picks, but you can't give up the draft capital to protect this kid. Well, what am I using the draft capital for? Well, you've got high-priced pieces out there. If you're not, why would you trade for high-priced pieces? Because my quarterback is dying. Play in and play out. That's why I'm drafting high draft capital. That's why I'm trading high pieces. That's why I'm paying a high price. That's why I wanted Connor Williams to be on this team. That's why I said F the 4th round pick, F the 5th round pick, F this year's second, trade back into last year's second, go get somebody in the 2nd round who can block for your young quarterback. But we got depth. We got depth, Pat. The Bears have depth. The depth is dead. We're talking about bringing back Larry Borom, and for the love of God, if I see one more person tell me Larry Borom is solid, shut the heck up. I don't know what this fantasy world is that y'all are living in, where Larry Borom and Braxton Jones are key pieces of your offensive line. I'll flip a table right now. I don't know what this fantasy world is that y'all are living in, where just because somebody was drafted to the Chicago Bears, that means they must have some kind of talent. Well, these guys know what they're looking at up there. So why is my quarterback on his back? The same dang conversation for 20 plus years. It's annoying. It's stupid. It's inept. It's malpractice to put your rookie quarterback. I've got people who are just Caleb Williams fans or Caleb Williams supporters or people who have been a part of Caleb Williams' life texting me going, what the heck has our boy walked into? What the heck has happened? Why is Chicago like this? Why aren't they protecting him? Why aren't they going all in to protect him? I have people texting me every week confused at what the Bears have put in front of their rookie quarterback because they've never seen a quarterback on any other team put in this situation so consistently. It's unacceptable, man. And you beat your chest on depth, and you went out in the 4th round and you drafted a punter who, yeah, he's the only reason you're in that game. But maybe if Caleb Williams could stand upright for more than a second and a half, we wouldn't be punting so much. Because again, I think Caleb Williams could be the answer. I think Caleb Williams is talented enough to be the answer. But you can have all the answers to the test, but if you're dumb enough to show the teacher, it don't help. You shouldn't have put this kid in this situation. We shouldn't be sitting here talking about offensive line depth. We shouldn't be sitting here. We should be talking about offensive line talent. But we're not. We're talking about losing a key offensive lineman that would be a backup to the backup on most teams. How do you adjust? Go out and find somebody with some talent. Go out and grab a Wyatt Teller. Go out and find you some offensive line help in some capacity. And yes, it's going to cost you draft capital. Yes, it's going to cost you money. You know why? Because you need to protect this kid. The same conversation we had week 1, the same conversation we had week 2, the same conversation we have week 3. You had 3 weeks of, oh, well, it's kind of figuring it out. He was still running for his life. That Rams game for some people is a delusional game. Well, they only gave up 2 sacks in that game. They're getting better. He was hit 5 times. His body felt 5 sacks. Pause. You can't duct tape the wings of the plane and expect the thing to stay up in the air. I'm sorry, dog. And I know I come in fiery on this topic, but bro, how long are we going to have this conversation? You're just good. And here's the other thing. Is there a belief that you're going to find 5 offensive linemen next season? Or at least 4? Because I'll tell you what, you're not bringing back Tevin Jenkins. Second injury. He's going to probably be week to week. Braxton Jones, I dare you to bring him back. Oh, I'll be cooking you all off season. Talking about, oh, he's a solid starting left tackle. And why is my quarterback continuously getting knocked over from the left side? Why is there this gaping chasm of wall that keeps happening in pass pro from the left side? Unbelievable, dog. Unbelievable. You beat your chest on depth. Over 200 in the chat. 200. You beat your chest on depth. Well, we got great depth. This team has great depth. Where's your depth now? Half your depth has been dead for half the season. Now you're starting to get it back. Now the other half of it's dying. By the way, 163 in the building. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Only 23 likes on the video, man. On the Twitter side, hit that retweet button. It's sad. It's sad. It's one of those situations that, dog, like I understand why Minnesota made the move. And we're going to talk about the Cam Robinson trade as well. Should polls have been in on that or not? I am upset as a Bears fan because I can see where the light is happening. I can see the quarterback that we've been waiting for our entire freaking lives. And you know what's sad? It doesn't matter what iteration of Bears fan you are. Your entire life, you've been waiting on this quarterback. Your entire life, you've been waiting on the thing that we're actually seeing happen on the field. Somebody who can read a defense, somebody who can assess what's going on, somebody who can throw the football quickly, somebody who gets the ball out to the receivers with anticipation. You've been waiting for this your whole life, no matter how old you are as a Bears fan. And instead of doing every single thing in your power to fix this, you drafted, and I'm sorry, I love that you got Karan Amagaji, or that Karan Amagaji got to live out his dream of being in the NFL. He's a project. You got a project in the 3rd round. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't get projects in the 3rd round. Well, Pat, that was his first. That's why he's a project. They were too scared to put him out there in multiple moments where Braxton Jones has been hurt this season. Well, he didn't have an offseason. He didn't have a training camp. He didn't have a summer program. He ain't going to get one. You drafted a project in the 3rd round. I'm not mad at Karan Amagaji for not looking great in his first opportunity on the football field. He's a rookie. He's not supposed to look great in his first opportunity on the football field. I'm mad that Karan Amagaji's first opportunity on the football field is in one of the most important games you need in week 8. I'm mad that you drafted a 3rd round left tackle who and you felt, well, we don't want to put him out there too early. It's a little dangerous out here. I'm sorry, man. Like that's not it. That's not it. You got to find a way to get these guys. If it's week 8 and he's not prepared and he hasn't done anything, like what are you guys doing to prepare him? I'm sorry. And maybe he turns into a phenomenal left tackle. I'm not writing the career of a Karan Amagaji. He's writing that. Maybe he turns into a dog out there on the left side. But I'm very skeptical when you were scared to throw this kid out there at any point when you were dealing with a ton of offensive line issues on that left side. Very skeptical. And especially in a draft where in the 4th and 5th round you could have got back into, or in the 4th and 5th round you take a kicker and a defensive lineman that I did want. I like Austin Booker. I think Austin Booker is a solid piece on this team. I think he does a really good job, especially does a better job than I thought he would do in run defense. But listen, I can do without Austin Booker if Caleb Williams is standing upright. I said going into the draft, package the 4th, the 5th, and next year's 2nd, whether it's yours or whether it's Carolina's, and you find your way back into this 2nd round, and you go in there and you get an offensive line. Go in there and find you your center of the future. Go in there and find something. Because what was that in the 2nd round this year? Didn't the Steelers get Zach Frazier? Where was Zach Frazier drafted? What was Zach Frazier drafted? 2nd round, pick 51. Rookie standout. Absolute stud. Absolute stud. I've used this analogy before. But dog, when you're down 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th and you got a 3-2 count, you're just runner on 3rd, you're just watching the pitch go past for strike 3. You're just watching the pitch go past for strike 3. I'm sorry. Hit that like button if you agree. Subscribe to the page. Over 300 in a chat. 300. It's so sad to be sitting here having these same I've had this argument with every god dang quarterback, bro. Since I've done this show, I have done this episode probably 15 times. Wild, bro. Wild. Roddy B in the building with a super chat. Appreciate the super chat. Said, what's good? One good thing Poles did this offseason. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you he did nothing good this offseason. I'm sitting here telling you that I think he avoided looking at one major thing. Let's not wild out now. Yeah, I mean, I think that Poles has put together a solid team. I just think he has a very big blind spot in the most important part of this team. I mean, listen, we're still sitting 4-3. We're still, I still love our defense, and he added some really nice defensive pieces. You want to talk about some of the pieces that he's drafted? Like I said, I think Austin Booker is a solid piece. I'd rather package that to go get an offensive lineman, but neither here nor there. I think Kevin Byard is a great signing. That is a leader in your locker room that you went out and signed off of the street. That doesn't happen every day. So I love the fact that he did that. I think that offensively. I know some people are out on the Keenan Allen signing. I think you just got to get the football to Keenan Allen, or the Keenan Allen trade. I think you got to get the football to Keenan Allen. There's also not a downside to that. You get a compensatory pick back for that if you do decide to move on from him. I think that that's a smart move. I'm not saying that Ryan Poles is not smart. I mean, if we're honest, let's start with the number one move. You go out there and you put yourself in a position to draft Caleb Williams, who looks like a dang good quarterback. This is not the fire Ryan Poles episode. I think get the football to Roma Dunze more. Roma Dunze, every time he's on there, he's a matchup nightmare. This is not the fire Ryan Poles episode. I'm not having that conversation. This is a conversation of holding your GM, which I think this is what also needs to be understood. There is nuance to conversation, which nuance and sports talk sound like they never go together. There is nuance in conversation where you can sit there and have, I can believe you're a good GM and that you screwed up. That's how every job works. The best foremans, the best managers, the best whatever your boss is, right? You can have a great boss and he can screw up. I believe that you have a good GM. I also think he screwed up on where he thought this offensive line was at and his assessment of it. Both things can be true. Ryan Pace was here 3 years ago and we thought we had no hope moving forward. Now all of a sudden we're in a season we have hope in. So I don't want this to be, oh, Pat wants to fire Ryan Poles. Oh, Pat wants to move. That's absolutely not what Pat wants. Pat wants Ryan Poles in the building. Pat wants Ryan Poles to stop drafting dudes that look like him. Pat wants left tackles that are massive. Pat wants a starting center that knows how to snap and block and stay on his feet. I feel like these are three simple things. Discover Me said you can't go. Poles did all of this wrong on every show, then say once, oh yeah, he's a good GM. I have said that Ryan Poles did one thing wrong. Did I say Caleb Williams was the wrong move? Did I say Roma Dunze was a bad draft pick? I said you should have gone other directions. Doesn't mean those players are bad. Again, that's what I mean. That's how nuance in conversation works. That's how nuance in conversation works. I can have the conversation of Ryan Poles, you missed here. And still say that you did good in all of these other areas. My concern is that we knew last season, we knew last year with Justin Fields, whether you were on Justin's side or not, and some people, maybe they were blinded by it. Some people I think needed this come to Jesus moment of, hey, you know what? Maybe offensive line is important, because I was screaming that all last year too. You know who else I was screaming it for? Mitch. I was like, hey, maybe protect him. I'm not saying he's great. Actually, I think he's pretty bad, but at least protect him, because bad quarterbacks look better behind good offensive lines. Both things can be true. I'm not sitting here telling you that Ryan Poles made the worst moves of all time by any GM ever. I'm not telling you it's time to fire Ryan Poles. What I am telling you is that when you miss, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire, just like I would with a player who had a bad game. See, this is how I know Muzz ain't listening. This is how I know Muzz ain't listening. I love this. I love having. I love when we can have conversations back and forth with the chat. This is fun. Discover me. You said you can't draft Caleb without O-line, which means it's the wrong move. You said we should have took O-line with the 9th pick. Not listening. Never said that. Implying we should have drafted Roma Dunze. In fact, I think exactly what I said was you should have packaged your 2nd round pick next year. You should have packaged your 4th round and 5th round pick this year to move back into the 2nd round this year to draft an offensive lineman like Zach Frazier, who went 51st in the draft in the 2nd round. I believe that's the exact words that I said. Once again, not listening. Once again, nuanced conversation. You could have had it all. You could have had it all. But you didn't want to address it all. And even if you keep the draft the exact same, even if you keep the draft the exact same, you do everything exactly the same, right? You draft Torrey Taylor, you draft Austin Booker, you draft Karan Amagaji in the 3rd round, you do everything the same. You still got another shot at it. Connor Williams was there for the taking. Not only did you not even assess the issue, didn't even call for him. Didn't even check in on him. Didn't even see if he was going to be a good fit for your team. Now, I'll tell you what, he's better than anything you got here on this team right now. My problem is you had multiple bites at different sides of the same apple, and you didn't even open your mouth. Hey, yo. Oh, that together was wild. That was nuts. That was wild. All right. All right, we got to take a break. Listening to a word from our sponsors. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. I appreciate the back and forth because we do have to talk about one of the offensive linemen that was made available and is now in your division. And the Bears did not go after him. Was that the right move to make? We'll talk about all that and more right after this. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Needed that aura music to calm everything down in here, man. Sometimes you need that aura music. Just calm everything down.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Oh, appreciate y'all for tuning back in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's keep this conversation going because yesterday we saw a trade for an offensive lineman be made into our division. Cam Robinson Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars was traded to the Minnesota Vikings for a 5th-round conditional pick that could become a 4th-round pick if needed. Now, a lot of people online were upset about this yesterday because they were sitting there going, Pat, Cam Robinson is terrible. Pat, Cam Robinson is worse than Braxton Jones. Pat, oh my God, how could you ever want Cam Robinson? And I love that they throw PFF numbers at my face without actually watching the game. So I spent all night watching a lot of Cam Robinson plays because let's not pretend like everyone's watching Jacksonville Jaguars games out there. I'm not even pretending that I was sitting there watching Cam Robinson all season. But I will also go back and do the work on tapping in on Cam Robinson and seeing what he's looked like. Now, has Cam Robinson allowed some sacks? For sure. But the one thing for me that I do see in some of those sacks allowed and some of the pressures that they're claiming are his, because he's got 15 total pressures on the season, 4 sacks allowed, 3 penalties, 3 hits allowed. Some of the pressures they're claiming that are coming on the season, a lot of those are from the right guard when he's got his man hemmed up. I mean, I don't know how PFF counts pressures. Again, that's why I say use PFF as a tool, not as the rule. Use PFF as a tool, not as the rule. I use PFF as a tool to kind of tell me, okay, this is the baseline numbers. This is where things are kind of at. This is how, the team is utilizing this player, and this is where he's been, and this is what position he's been in. But I don't use it as the rule, because when I go back and I watch Cam Robinson's tape, I see a guy that does a really good job. First off, a massive human being. And I see a guy that does a really good job getting that left foot out quickly, getting to his spot, not being pushed backwards. Let's start there. Not just spending his life being pushed backwards. Are there some moments where he does get hit a little bit? For sure. I'm not sitting here telling you he's the perfect option, but I think he's a better option than what you have right now. Now, as far as the sacks allowed, like I said, some of the sacks are on him. I think that he's got 4 sacks allowed on the season. I would say probably 2 of them are on him, where you just go, okay, that's just not a good move. The other 2 that I saw that it looks like he's given up this season are Trevor Lawrence standing in there way too long, taking a hit. Whether that is the case or not, we've seen that with Braxton Jones for sure. The issue I think that a lot of people have, though, with Cam Robinson is the fact that you see the numbers, you see the fact that he's on a team, and you see the draft pick that he was traded for, and you go, well, this guy must suck. On top of that, he does have a big number still attached to his name. Now, he's finishing out this season with a $9 million deal, and then you have to go out and pay him after next season. Here's my thing, though. If you get an answer on that left side, why wouldn't you want to pay him? If you get an answer out on that left side, why wouldn't you want to pay him? Especially for a 5th-round pick that's a conditional 4th based on playing time. And I love the fact that I'm getting all the Braxton Jones guys in my comments sitting there talking about, oh, he's the answer. Braxton Jones, he'll be back soon. Don't worry. I don't want him back. I don't want to see him out there. And I know, and this is why I tell you, don't just look at the PFF numbers. Look at the actual play on the field, and look at what there's a video of who was it? Me and J Mac, we're doing the Chicago Bears podcast and we're breaking down the film from the Rams game. And J Mac legitimately spends most of the video just going, look at the left tackle. Look at the left tackle. As your third-year left tackle is being handled by rookie Jared Verse, who, listen, is a phenomenal player. But you would think, but Jared Verse basically changed up everything that he had done well up to that point just for Braxton Jones. Because Jared Verse had been done a really good job at driving to the outside, making a swim move, getting back to the inside, having a perfect line to the quarterback, knocking him over. Boom. That is what we had seen Jared Verse do week after week after week in dominant fashion. And then Braxton Jones came on the schedule. And we saw for 4 quarters a man go through another man's chest. Take that for how you will. Every single play. Every single play. So don't tell me that Braxton Jones is a starting left tackle in this NFL that you think is the answer over there. Not to say he's not a starter, but don't tell me he's the answer on the left side. Well, we just drafted Karan Amagaji. Why would we go out and add that piece? Looks very Braxton-like, but hopefully I'm wrong. I've seen him a lot. I watched him at practice. I watched him in when he's out there. I see him in the locker room all the time. Looks very Braxton Jones like. Maybe I'm wrong, but not a lot of meat on that lower half there. Pause. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, ooh. Oh, whoa! Not the combination again. Not a lot of backside over there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will be the one who has the thinner legs, who's able to anchor himself, who's able to stop but I mean, listen, dog. You can't do wrong with a 6'6", 355 guy who has been on a Jacksonville Jaguars team that has been abysmal most of the time. He's still, and which is my favorite part of this is his PFF numbers are not bad. He's still got a pass blocking grade of 72.2 and a run blocking grade of 64.6 now. And that's on a team that doesn't pass or run well. That's on a team that literally does almost nothing well. He's still got solid numbers. But hey, what do I know? At the end of the day, I think that it's tough to watch your division opponent get better while you haven't done anything. Now, does that mean that Ryan Poles is going to do nothing at the break? Probably not. I would assume you have to do something now, especially with Bill Murray landing on IR. I would assume you have to go out and address the offensive line in some way. Again, I would love to see Wyatt Teller get on this side of the field. I think that Wyatt Teller is a Pro Bowl level piece still. He dealt with some injury. He's back from that injury. Now that you know he's back from that injury, I would be fine with you going out and getting a guy like Wyatt Teller. I think that there are pieces out there that you can add to this team that can get you through the season. Are they long-term pieces? No. Is Cam Robinson a long-term piece? Probably not. But your quarterback may die the rest of this year. That's unacceptable. You can sit here and say, well, he'll address it in the offseason next year. The offseason is still 3 months away. You're going to let Caleb go through 3 months of this to get to the offseason? And now you're putting yourself in a position where, hey, listen, you better get it right. If you're waiting for the offseason to get here, that's fine. You better have 5 pieces lined up as far as draft pieces and offensive linemen that are going to step in here day one and be the answer. You better have dogs standing in front of Caleb Williams heading into next season. And I need to see it to believe it. And I'm not one of the people that thinks that everybody on this offensive line stinks. I think that you end up being bad as a collective because more guys are bad than are good. You're only as good as the weakest link. I don't think you need to address your right tackle position again. I think that that Darnell Wright is a good right tackle. I think that he it starts to look a lot worse when everything is leaking. I love this comment. I saw this movie already. It sucks. We've been seeing it for 15 years, my guy. And it's like I said on the Daily Show last night, dog. There's a clear line of Bears had good offensive linemen and the result, and Bears didn't have good offensive linemen and the result. Clear. It's a blinding light. It's literally last time we had a good O lineman. This is Olin Kreutz right here. NFC Championship. Last time we had somebody who was a solid O lineman, Cody Whitehair, made the playoffs. And we had 3 out of 5 offensive linemen that were solid. Made the playoffs. Every time we didn't, last in the division. That's crazy how that works, right? Insane. Who would have ever thunk it? It sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. And you hope that you're able to find a fix for it here in the upcoming draft. You hope that you're able to find a fix for it here in the offseason again. But can you find a fix for it during the season? I think that there was one that was on the table that you could have rolled with and you'd have been fine. But maybe the belief in Karan Amagaji is so high that this kid's going to come out there and ball out that they have no worry on that left side. But I saw them not worry on the left side for a good chunk of this season with Braxton Jones, who I watched get moved a lot. But we don't got to worry about that side. Look at his PFF numbers. But my quarterback's getting hit on that side consistently. Nah, he's not. Nah. Okay, you got it. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm going to give you my 3 key players to a Chicago Bears victory over the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, we do have to talk about things in the sense of victory because this Cardinals team is a beatable team. Now, they're a team that will fight you tooth and nail. They are not a rollover and die level team. They're not. They are a team that, to me, can really go out there and get after you. And now you are shorthanded on this offensive line. So my number 1 player, as far as my key players, I guess my number 3. My number 3 player on the on this offensive line that I think needs to make an impact this Sunday is Karan Amagaji. I know he's a rookie. I know it's only his second game of action, but guess what? Because of the lightness of this offensive line right now, you got to step in and show me something, young fella. I think that Amagaji is going to have a decent matchup on Sunday, one that you can really do a test on there. But that's not a dominant defensive line that the Bears are going up against, although it is amazing that the Bears find a way to make almost every defense that shouldn't look good in moments you don't need to. That Washington defensive line wasn't a great defensive line, and yet and they were dealing with injury, and yet they were still able to get after you. My hope is that Karan is able to come out there, stand his ground, and be able to, show me something early on where, listen, I'm not the same guy over here. I'm not what Pat thinks I am, as far as being Braxton Jones, as far as being the same as Braxton Jones. I'm not that guy. I'm better. I'm stronger, even though In pass block, I thought he was horrible on Sunday. I mean, he got run around pretty consistently. And run blocking, he was a little bit better. But again, your first opportunity. Only played 27 snaps, I think, on Sunday, or 54 snaps. 51 snaps, I should say. He played 51 snaps at left tackle on Sunday, allowed 4 pressures, end up with a penalty, didn't allow a sack, didn't allow a hit. But you gotta pick it up. I'm sorry. I know this is a quick turnaround, but this is when you got your opportunity. Make the most of it, young man. I hope to see you be able to go out there and do it. My second key player, and this is an obvious one, but I think that this is a major one in this game, especially coming off of the game that he just had, is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, to me, outside of the other issues that happened offensively, was horrible on Sunday. He was. And you got to bounce back in a major way. I don't know if it was the pressure of being in Washington. I don't know if it was the pressure of being in front of your home fans. I don't know what it was, but how he finished that fourth quarter was very encouraging. Give me some of that. It don't got to be in the first. Give me it in the second and third, right? Like, give me some of that throughout the entire game in this game. I need to see Caleb Williams go out there and have an offensive output that rivals what your defense is being able to do, because I do think that while this is a team who versus good defenses has played well in the Arizona Cardinals, I do think that this is a team that is very beatable, and Kyler Murray will give the football away. And once you get him flustered, that's when you can have your best day. The ball will be in the Bears' hands. The Bears will get takeaways. The Bears will be able to, by the way, is that the Bears? I think the Commanders game, maybe the Bears' first game in a while without multiple takeaways. I think we only had 1 turnover in that game. Wild. I think that the Bears defense is still going to put you in some good positions, very much so like they did versus the Washington Commanders. And I think offensively, we need to see more out of Caleb Williams early on. You can't be overthrowing Keenan Allen on wide open screen passes. You can't be overthrowing DJ Moore on wide open plays over the middle. You can't be overthrowing Roma Dunze deep down the field, especially if you're going to throw it into double coverage. At least give him a chance to be the 50-50 guy to come down with the ball. You can't do it. You got to play better. A big reason why this offense struggled was because Caleb Williams did not play well. You got to play better. You're not in a situation where the Hail Mary matters if you show up in quarters 1 through 3. Now, were there bad play calls that screw you over as well? Sure. Those happened in the fourth where you played your best. The DJ Moore screen pass, guess what that was? That's an RPO. Shane, why would you call that? Well, the play was also to run the football. He made the wrong read. So I need to see my quarterback lock back in. And I think he will. I think he'll be fine this week. I'm not worried about Caleb Williams in the long term. The drive at the end of that game, I mean, 2 drives from a rookie quarterback on the road in his home state to put you in a position to win that game. That's impressive. I am impressed by that. My biggest problem is that it took you till then to do that. I don't want I don't want this to turn into a Mitch Trubisky debate. Let's just put this week behind us, go out there and get a win this week, and hopefully be in a better position. 5-3 looks a heck of a lot better than 4-4. Just does, especially in this division. Key number 3, my third key player of the day. Hit that like button if you agree. Subscribe to the page. Drop your key players in the chat as well, man. Appreciate you guys for rocking with your boy. Leave a 5-star review if you're listening over on the podcast side. My third key player this week is Tyreek Stevenson. You got to bounce back. You have to bounce back in a major way. You cost this based on what Ryan Poles has said. And I don't believe that this game is lost on the last play of the game. I don't. But based on what Ryan Poles has said, they were playing for that last play. That's why he gave up the 15 yards. He continues to maintain that 15 yards don't matter. That 15 yards isn't important. That 15 yards isn't big. Well, if that 15 yards ain't big on the play before, then that means that you lost this team again. You need to bounce back in a major way. I need you locked in. I need you focused. I need you on demon time. And I am not one that doesn't want Tyreek Stevenson talking trash. I am not one that doesn't want Tyreek Stevenson in the face of people. I am not one. When you hit people hard, guess what? Offensive linemen usually run up in your face and say, don't hit my quarterback hard. I want him to be that player. But what I need him to do is recognize when it's a deep shot versus when it's a short pass, when it's an intermediate pass. I feel like his play recognition struggles at times. I feel like he doesn't get down the field quick enough when he's not anticipating the deep ball and he can't recover. So you need to know that going into it. But on top of that, you need to have a game where you have no penalties that are personal foul penalties. You need to have a game where you are a perfect angel outside of anything that has to do with stopping the man standing in front of you. I need to see Tyreek Stevenson go out there and absolutely ball out. Because you need to have a game you need to be NFC Player of the Week again. You need to have a game that is so good that we can go, all right, at least we know he's locked back in. I think that Tyreek is a very good football player. I like DBs that I'm sorry. I don't want a DB that's sitting there and he's just, there's nothing. Yeah, I mean, I like DBs that are sitting there in the face. Just know the line. Know the line. That's all I ask. There's no reason for you to put your finger inside another man's face, man. That's why I love when Tom Waddle talked about I forget who he said he was playing against, but the guy basically stuck his finger in Waddle's mask while they were on the bottom of the pile and fish hooked him. And Waddle bit him. And he was and the DB was mad. He was like, I can't believe you bit me. Why would you bite me? And literally Waddle said, hey, bro, anything outside of the face mask, that's free game for you to hit. Anything inside the face mask, that's mine. Take that into your next game. Anything outside the face mask, light buddy up. Yeah, I mean, a little pushing, a little shoving. I'm here for it. I like that energy. I don't want church boys. Anything inside the face mask, know that that's not yours to touch and leave it alone. I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love with your boy for another morning. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We'll be back again today at 6 for the Daily Show. A lot more coming your way. Of course, we'll get the injury report. We'll be breaking that down. Also get to hear from Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron. All that and more coming on today's Daily Show. So tap in with us as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace. I need to talk about goddamn offensive line on an entire episode because you can't address the
best show
offense.
for Chicago sports.
Oh yeah, the White Sox had a manager, by the way. David, we gotta cover all the news. That's all the time the White Sox get on this show. Will Venable. I said his name wrong too. Will Venable. Yeah, we don't care.